For those of you who have been following along with my my weekly email newsletter saga, so a couple of weeks ago, I shared how I was switching to MailChimp. They shut me down in a matter of days, which was my own fault, in fairness, for two reasons. Number one, Ryan let me know after the fact, oh, yeah, I've spoken with MailChimp directly. They don't like real estate businesses. They don't want them using their platform, which I'm not, I don't want that to seem as slanderous or libel or whatever. I'm just passing along information. And also, the very first message I sent out was stupid because I was talking about buying a home for zero down payment. And that is just, you're just asking for, spam trap trouble or whatever. Like it wasn't a good initial communication to start with. Right. But I pivoted to Get Response. And what's funny is, or what's interesting, like I first used Get Response probably back in 2006. And we had previously hundreds of people we had referred to Get Response because that was the platform because we've been talking about, emailing your database since literally I got started in real estate. So this is not like a new thing. And we use Get Response for our Wake Up Real Estate reminders, like that database. We use Get Response. So it's a great platform. Deliverability is good. Is it the very best of the, similar types of companies? Probably not, but it's good enough. And I know it pretty well. And it's got some additional interesting functionality and so forth. So, yeah, Daphne said I started with Get Response back in the day with my first newsletter. Yeah, I mean, I literally, they've been in. I think they claim they've been in the business for I don't know. When I saw the number, it seemed like I was like, that seems like you've been in business for longer than the internet. But whatever. So that's where I've pivoted to. I've gone back to using, and so I'm going to share some of the initial data. And then I'm actually going to do some of the email scrubbing and importing. So for those that want to do it on their own or whatever, can do if they so choose. And then I'll open it up for Q&A. But there are several reasons why I switched to using Get Response, but a dedicated email platform. Okay. And the big one was I wanted to see real data. Okay. So since I started, since I moved over to Get Response, I've sent two newsletters, I think. One I broke up into two different, I sent half of it Thursday and half of it Friday because I kind of wanted to warm it up. And then last week, because it was Thanksgiving, I sent it on Wednesday. And if I go, I can show just individual stats here. It just you get a different level of detail here. So 1,100 of 5,500 opened last week's email. Like that's 1,100 people in my market, in my database that opened my email. That's kind of encouraging and exciting. Now, there was only 17 clicks, but I don't know. I was, plus the other thing I'll say is the click counting that's not perfectly accurate. Neither is the open rate, quite honestly. There are different ways that gets tracked. But at least it's something to go on. So number two, I'll just show you the format, what the emails look like that I'm sending. Just click on this. Preview. There we go. So it's pretty simple and standard. I've been putting a video on top, some text. I've got thinking about buying a home, search all homes, home to sell, home values and cash offers, and then signature file and my my socials in here. Okay. So pretty simple, pretty clean. The first one I sent out looks like this. Okay, similar. I actually put 2 bits of content in this one. I had to. So, I mean, I didn't have to. I had two things that I could include. So I was like, all the better. I want to highlight a local restaurant, and I did my market snapshot. Okay. Now, what I had been talking about doing is having sort of a rotating cycle of content. Like the first week of the month, I was going to do events. The second week, a market update. The third week, I don't even remember something. What's the third week going to be? I don't know. I have it in my notes somewhere. And then the fourth week, like something showing my expertise. Oh, the third week was spotlighting a local business or businesses. And then the fourth week was going to be demonstrating expertise, right? Like answering a question or talking about a program or things of that nature. And at Ryan's sort of offhanded recommendation a week or two ago, and then Daphne playing devil's advocate, who, by the way, if you missed this morning's show, Daphne was our guest for What's Working Wednesday, and she was phenomenal. And we're going to be doing more of that on Wednesdays, bringing on folks who are, seeing success and sharing what's working for them to try and help our community. Her point was like, why not just put all of that in every email? Like, just make that, that is those 4 bits of content, or like every week. And Ryan had said at some point, and this was just like an offhanded comment on a show, like, that sounds like a show. Like, why don't you just do a weekly show? And those are like the segments, because that information, like you highlight some events, or in this case, or this week, highlight some Christmas light displays to go check out, talk about the market, highlight some facts and figures from the last week, highlight or talk about a small business or something else of interest. Like, for example, this week I could talk about there's a girl who played softball with my daughter. I'm going to try not to cry here. We found out late spring that she has bone cancer. And so we've been doing some things to try and help their family. Right. So that would be, I guess I could include that as an event, because we have we've got like a drive going for her family this week. But I could talk about something like that, and then just finish with like the question of the day or a question of the week, real estate related. Or I could talk about the 5% down payment assistance program that we talked about on yesterday's info session with Jordan, right? So like 4 segments. And then if I do it right, if I hit the cadence right, and I keep all of those segments under a minute, now I've got 4 pieces of short form content that I can clip and use that as well. So I think I'm leaning towards that versus to have the weekly, because Daphne's point, and it's well taken, is in theory that it increases the likelihood that there's something interesting every week for everybody on the list, right? Because some people might like the events. Some people might be interested in the local business spotlight. Some people might, the analyticals, they might want that market data, and then the, the program or the whatever. So I'm liking that. I got to figure out the exact format that I'm going to do it. I also need to think through, if I'm going to create the comment or the content in 4 segments, if I clip it, but I make it in horizontal, how do I make it fit a vertical model? So anyway, I would love feedback, thoughts, comments, etc. on any of that. And if we don't have any of that, then I'll show how we're cleaning lists and getting them uploaded. And I'll probably do that regardless. Do that part regardless. And Daphne, why don't, for those that weren't there, and this will actually help me too. So your weekly newsletter, I think you said you used to call it the Fayette 5 or something, and now you call it the Southside 6 or what? And maybe let everybody know what the content you've been sharing there, and maybe you could pull up an example. I'll enable sharing, and maybe you could show an example of what yours looks like, just for folks who might be curious.
Yeah, mine used to be called the Fayette 5 because I'm in Fayette County, but since I expanded, kind counties and, spread my net a little bit further, because there's just not enough houses here. I've moved it to the South Side 6, and South Side is like the south part of Atlanta. And so what it is, of the 6, I have like 4 different events or happenings or news items, whatever I want to highlight that week. Then I have one of them is market update. And then finally the last one is something I'm doing. Could be an open house, could be a listing, could be, I don't know, like one of my YouTube videos. I usually have a YouTube video in there, so whatever comes up. And let me see if I can share one. Hold on.
So immediately after we were wrapped up, my brain was going to, can I come up with a clever name for mine? I love alliterations, and I think there is something to have. When we were sending the events, we were calling it the weekend bucket list, the Central PA weekend bucket list. I don't think that fits this content variety or whatever. So I probably need to pivot to something different. But I'm also not going to obsess over it so much that I just don't take action. That can come out of taking action. While Daphne is looking for that, Andrew says, is there an easy way to delete the bad emails from KV Core but keep the other info? I don't know. Well, actually, delete them. I mean, KV Core will note when it's a bad email, right? So, like, I don't know if you can filter by those, but it will like if an email bounces or it is if it bounces or it's not a valid email, it does mark that in KV Core, and then it unsubscribes them from email. So that does that happens on some level automatically, kind of, or generally.
Ready when you are.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Let me see. Where am I? Okay. Can you see it?
Indeed, we can.
Okay, so this is my editing.
Text. It's text based, all of it. Like, do you put video or other content in it, or is it all typically text?
It's mostly text, but then I have a video at the bottom.
Yeah.
And what this is, it's just the way it does it. This is my thumbnail.
Right. Yeah.
But if I put in the YouTube the YouTube link, it automatically like pulls in the thumbnail. Yep. And then I can choose what kind of play button I want on it.
This actually looks exactly like Get Responses Builder.
I can do square solid, something like that. Mm-hmm. I like my round solid. So yeah, so it does all that. And then I have a couple of buttons. So here, the Let's Chat, that goes to my Calendly. And then the market update goes, it's another, it's the same YouTube video that's up here. Sometimes I have a list of houses. Sometimes I have home value. I mean, it just really depends on what I'm talking about here. So I always have the 4 headers. So I start with a little bit of banter, as you will, making it personal. Always talk to one person, have somebody in mind, because you don't want to, talk to a whole bunch of people. Yep. You want people to think you're talking to them. So then I, kind of introducing the South Side 6, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. So, you have different things going on. Here's my market update. And here's a little bit of analysis. Like I said before, it's this morning, it's when you do a market update, you don't really just want to give them the numbers. You want to tell them what it means, because you're the expert. You want to position yourself as the expert. And then like a little bit, so here I'm talking about the market, interest rates, and this is from a couple of weeks ago, because I did a very short one for Thanksgiving, after Thanksgiving. And how do you like my thumbnail? This is an AI generated thumbnail, other than me, of course.
But what AI tool did you use?
ChatGPT.
Okay.
You can actually tell ChatGPT to design like a thumbnail, like a background image. It's very cool.
Huh.
Is that paid version?
Yes, that's the paid version.
Okay.
I mean, it comes up with some wild stuff, but it's kind of cool. I told it at least 5 times to remove the red trees from the neighborhood, and it will give me a different image, and then it says, yeah, here's the red trees removed. I'm like, I'm seeing at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red trees.
Stupid AI.
And it cannot spell. Don't make sure it cannot not spell. I mean, it's terrible, but it's funny.
I think it's great that the AI is glitchy and dyslexic or whatever. I don't know. That's great.
Yeah, I can show you some of the stuff that it came in.
Yeah, I mean, might as well. Also curious, Daphne, subject line.
It's hugely important.
Yeah, what do you do for that? What have you found that works, doesn't work? How do you mix them up, if at all?
Oh yeah, hold on. Let me exit without saving. So here's my list of templates, and here are the subject lines. So it needs to be like intriguing, right? Because nobody cares if you. So here's like, it's beginning. It always starts with Southside 6, and then it's beginning. Then like opening a loop, tree lighting fireworks, because my town actually had fireworks after tree lighting. My privilege. So you're trying to kind of open a loop in their mind.
Dragons and Puppies. That one got me.
Which one was that? Oh, Dragons and Puppies. Let's see what was. I don't remember what that was about, but let me see.
Dragon Boat Festival.
Oh, that's right, the Dragon Boat Festival, and then there was also Fido Fest. Yeah. So so those things are intriguing, and then my open rate's probably higher on those. I could check that out.
I don't know if I'm going to call mine Central PA 6, Central PA 7. No.
So how about just Central 6?
Central 6. Yeah. I gotta start with something. But what in your subject line formula, that's letting people know what it is, but what comes after that is what opens the loop, creates the curiosity to get them to open and read and engage, right? So like that's look at that.
So here my open rate is almost 36%.
Yeah.
So I mean, and it's usually around the 30, 33, between 33, 36.
That's great.
Let's see.
That's great.
Yeah, 33.
And just for encouragement, Daphne mentioned this earlier. She has people that will ask her, like, where's my Friday email? I didn't get it this week, right? And that's a good sign. That's an encouraging sign that you're doing something right. If people are wondering where that is, why they didn't get it this week.
Yeah. But then I'm thinking, like, why did it not get served in their normal inbox? Why is it in their spam folder? Because that's usually where it is then.
And it could be, I don't know, maybe that week you had more links than you normally do, or some,
Maybe.
there's any number of reasons. And
Yeah, or
there's
maybe I had like, because there's certain words that will flag too, right?
right. Yep.
Does get response have the spam flag? You can run your email through um
Yeah.
the spam
I'm pretty
folder,
sure.
the
Yeah.
spam whatever. Because I remember I used to do that. But then again, I've been sending out weekly newsletter since 2010,
Yeah.
my other business too. So
All right. Well, that was super helpful. Thank you for
sure.
being willing to do that. I'm gonna dig in here. I want to show some for those that want to do some of this on your own, and transition over. We Greg, who is one of the agents in my organization, he had asked for help with this. And so, again, for those that would like, if you go and sign up with the our affiliate link, we'll help you scrub your list, get it imported, and get a template built for you. So Greg had sent 4 different buckets. Oh, Mike, you already did this? Darn it. Did you already scrub them and upload them?
No, Greg scrubbed them. All right, I didn't know you wanted to do that today.
Oh, no problem. I didn't realize he did. Well, good. I'm glad he did. I'll show the tool anyway, and I can show you how to use it regardless. But we had scrubbed these buyers, heroes, past clients, and seller leads, and imported those. And then Greg, and I will tell you that this is not my recommendation. I think this is purchased data, but at least he scrubbed it before putting it in here. I would lean towards having this email newsletter database or email newsletter process going for people that had, opted in or in your sphere, etc. Regardless, at least he scrubbed it and got it in here, and he's using it as a way to warm people up. And he's very much leading with value. So the tool that I've been using, there are other tools for this, but the tool that we've been using is called neverbounce.com. Neverbounce.com. You can pay, it's a free account. And then if you want to clean your list, you go to clean, you can add a list. Now I don't know if I converted it to be correct. This is very important. The email column has to be in the first column. Otherwise it won't work. I don't know if that's the way that data was formatted or not. Let me see here. It is not. Okay. So that means, so we got to copy this. Insert here. Delete. Save. So I'm going to add it in here. Is that the wrong one? There says Claremont. Well, there we go. I don't know what happened the first time. Maybe the save didn't take. So it's got there are billable emails found 1,073. You can analyze the list for free. Okay, which why not, right? And then what we're doing and recommending, and I found this through trial and error, is we're only uploading the valid emails. I tried importing to GetResponse all but the invalid. Well, no, I'm sorry. I tried doing the valid, accept alls, and the unknowns, and it wouldn't accept that as an import. It just, it just wouldn't do it for whatever reason. Can I see? Yeah. So the free analysis, and it says this list is very dirty and requires cleaning prior to emailing. But Greg did that, and it took it from, so here's what happened from that, because this is the exact same list. It was 1,073, and the valid emails were 791. Okay, 791. And then you pay, I think this will make me pay. So it's $8.58 for that 1,000. It's not huge numbers here. Even when I did the 14, I did two different big lists for myself, 6,000 and 2,000. And it was not, it wasn't all that costly. And then you take the valids and import them into GetResponse. You can map over more fields than name and email, but certainly at a minimum, you want to map over name and email. You can map over address. You can map over, like, for example, the KV Core, many of them have a bunch of hashtags. So I created a tag or whatever that just says tags, right? So you can sort by different ways if you want to. For example, maybe you want to have your buyer segment standalone because in addition to your weekly email newsletter, maybe twice a month, you're going to send something like yesterday's text script, right? More of a sales or conversation forward template, which, Daphne, when we were looking at her subject lines, I could tell that there was a coming soon in there. There were some other emails that you had sent, Daphne, besides just your Southside 6. You don't want to hammer people with that stuff, I don't think, right? But I think certainly 1, 2, maybe 3 times a month with something specific, a specific listing, or impactful news like, hey, I just learned about this new down payment assistance program that's available, things of that nature. Or the more conversation starter type of communications like we share often on Tuesdays. Let's see here. Courtney, would you suggest if we're new starting out and we need names, emails to start sending an email, and mailing list company, any suggestions for the companies? So do you mean to do the communications, Courtney, or to buy data? Like, you can get a free account with GetResponse and add up to 500 contacts for free, but they should be contacts that opted in or know you on some level. I'm just not sure I'm following the exactly what you mean in the question.
Yeah, don't ever buy a list. I mean, I am not even sending my newsletter to people I know unless they've specifically asked for it or said, oh yeah, I'd like to get that email. I just, because that's gets you in trouble. They'll mark it spam and your, name is mud.
Yeah. So I needed the context. So how do I start ads on Facebook? Yeah. Well, that we can help with. Right? If you need to build a database, yeah, you need to start. There are free strategies and there are paid strategies that you can get started with. And Courtney, maybe even before starting with ads on Facebook, Mike, can you dig up the doc with the marketplace process? That might be a place to start, Courtney, to get your feet wet. And it's essentially a free strategy. There is a paid tool that we recommend that will help the strategy work better. But as far as the actual traffic is free, right? You're not paying for ads. And it's at least a place to start to maybe generate some interest and start, getting some leads for free. Let's see here. Oh, and Mike, thank you for that. So that is using Facebook Marketplace, right? Which is a free platform to generate leads. And then if or when you want help, Courtney, with Facebook ads, we can help with that as well. The recommended resource in that, which is listings to leads, which I'll put the direct link there. You can get a free trial with them. And that also is a platform that you can use for Facebook ads as well. And it works wonderfully. That and Street Text is another wonderful option. Street Text is just it's a lot pricier. It's a lot more expensive. They're not exactly apples to apples either, but you can at least get started with that. And Courtney, like I said, if or when you're ready, we can help with that as well, to make sure that you've got things set up correctly, or take a look at the ads, etc. Other questions, comments, thoughts, or ideas? Anything related to this or unrelated to this, for that matter? We can go anywhere we need to at this point.
Yeah. Under the Get Response platform, can you talk about the other features that they have, like the website and landing pages?
I can't, because I'm not using them.
Okay.
I mean,
I was just
I
curious.
know they exist. I'm not. That is not why I'm using it. So I literally have not tried to use them at all. Now, previously, I mean, this is years ago, we used to use their landing pages. They weren't even like landing pages. They were literally just like, we would drive traffic to a form. It was literally like a get response form. And we were getting leads just from sending it. Literally, their forms were just a headline and like put your name and email, which is, funnily enough, like those are the best performing lead capture pages of all time, pretty much. But we're talking years and years ago. So I have not used, the only function we've used with Get Response since going back to them is the email marketing functionality. I don't doubt that there's value in some of that other stuff. It's just I'm not using, I can't speak to those features.